Everybody's going to see all millions of shoppers.
Great, thanks, Mason. Well, if you're just joining us online, welcome to the Cherry Creek Chamber of Commerce Success Series. My name is Anthony Richard. I'm your host, and we're here at the wonderful Global Down Syndrome Foundation. And our speakers today, we have two. Usually it's just one, but two speakers today, Holly and Eric Szymanski, for the topic of sell more, stress less. 52 tips to become a powerful sales professional. I've known Holly for almost 9 years now, and I've known her before she met her husband Eric, and they have combined their professions, sales and mindfulness training, to help us sell more, obviously, and stress less. Eric comes from a very successful career with Disney and hospitality industry, and Holly started Global Mindfulness Foundation. And please help me welcome today Eric and Holly. Yes, you do. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for spending your next 45 minutes with us. We have a great diverse audience in this room. First of all, thank you for being here in person. It's so good to see you. For those of you joining us virtually, thank you for being here as well. And we're here for a few different reasons. We're here to help you get to the end of the year without burning yourself out, right? We want you to achieve your goals. We want you to find, if you're newer to your position, been in this area for a long time. We want you to have success. We're not saying you have to choose between financial success and personal stress to the point of burnout. So hopefully the short time we have together today will help lend some ideas that will be struggling. Okay, we're 3/4 of the way here in the year, and on the end of September. How am I going to get there? I don't have it in me. I don't think I can get it done. It's okay. I feel that way. We're probably feeling that way for many of it. It could be the first time you hit this roadblock. You might realize that it's actually not. You have no idea that it's happening whatsoever, and that's okay. So would it be okay if we shared some tips, or is everyone just ready to hang out for a little bit?
Well, we always like to start our sessions in the way they start most meetings at Google. We recognize that there's a lot of doingness to get here into the room. And what they found at Google is if they take a moment to arrive, which is just simply 30 seconds to breathe into a space, what they've found is they're able to make meetings shorter and more powerful. Decisions get done easier by just getting everybody fully present in the room. So I just want to invite us, as we do that, to think about this question as we begin today. Just take a breath in and out. Let go of all that doingness that got you here. If it feels comfortable, feel your feet on the ground. Feel the chair supporting you. And give yourself the gift of being fully present here at the Cherry Creek Chamber. So Eric, as we begin today, we're starting with this question. How are you feeling as we begin today?
I saw the headlines. Everyone has the viruses, but no one's wearing the mask. So I actually feel pretty healthy, and I'm really grateful for that today. You know, sometimes you get to this point of the year and everyone's exchanging ideas, but they're probably also exchanging some other things. But if I could sum it up into one word, I just feel good this morning. I feel good. How do you feel?
You know, the word I'm using this morning is tired. We were in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, presenting a program similar to this last week, and then we get up at 3:30 tomorrow morning and head off to Washington, D.C.
We're going to storm the Capitol.
No, I'm going to Pandapalooza. I'm going to Pandapalooza. I have to see those pandas before they ship them back. The giant pandas before they ship them back, and we're speaking at the Mindful Leadership Summit. So just want to invite you to grab a partner and share what's your one word. How are you feeling as we begin today? I'll give you about 60 seconds to do that. How are you feeling as we begin today?
Those of you online can participate in this exercise as well. Yeah.
No, they're not. It's just for video.
Holla.
Okay.
Hello. So we'll come back together. So what was your one word?
Anyone want to shout out? Anyone want to share? Vacation brain. Today will be one of the most productive days you've had in quite some time.
What was the word over here you gentlemen had? Nourished. Ooh, that's a good one. What did you have? Energized and nourished.
Very cool. Anyone else care to share?
What word did you have? Happy. Ooh, love it.
Great.
Christine, what word did you have? Overwhelmed.
Sounds like Tuesday morning.
Well, that's the gift of mindfulness and being fully present in the moment. Is it really starts with us checking in with ourselves. I like to say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And this is also a no judgment zone. Happy, overwhelmed, nourished, fun, tired, exhausted. Allow yourself, give yourself a permission slip to be where you are. And if there's a perception that might be a negative word, well, there's an invitation for you to explore. Name it, claim it, tame it. And when you name that word, are you claiming it and owning it for the day, or is it time that you want to change and transform that particular word? You're going to change it? Well, you want my tip on that? So we didn't bring this book today, but we have a book called Mindful Leadership, the Stress-Free Guide to Leadership. And I take every letter of the alphabet, and it's an adult mandala coloring book. And so if you get in that where you have overwhelm or exhaustion, and you're like, gosh, I just need a tip to get out of that overwhelm. You take the first letter of that word that you're perceiving as negative, and you flip it to an O. So what if instead of feeling overwhelmed, you felt outstanding? And then you can utilize that word as sort of to create your affirmation. But sometimes in the moment when we're slipping down, you just need that little tip. What's the first letter? Okay, what's a word that starts with that? You know, instead of exhausted, I'm excited. So that's one tip where our work here is done, Eric.
If you want to think differently, you can change your mind. You can choose and step into that. Think about how many times you walk around and just the storm cloud is over your head and you're saying, I'm exhausted and I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. And eventually you keep repeating that to yourself over and over and over again. And what you visualize in that context, you're going to actualize. What we want you to do is recognize that even if you're not aware of being happy, you just know it's happening. That doesn't mean you have to turn that upside down, by the way. If you know you're in a negative or somewhat stress-induced state, the first step to helping yourself get out of that is to recognize that it's happening. And if we could actually pause for a second and say, something's different. I'm not as productive as I've been in the office. People are noticing I'm a little agitated or maybe short or curt, and that's not like me. That's not who I choose to be in this moment. So our first tip of the morning is be fully present with yourself and what you're going through, and recognize that it's happening. And that's just the first step. You want to get through that. These things don't last forever, typically. there are scientific and psychological benefits to going through a stressful time to achieve a end-of-year business goal. Where it becomes an issue is when we can't turn that stress off, where maybe our negative internal voice takes over and becomes the predominant voice in our heads. So if we can at least recognize that it's happening, then we can do something about it.
So Eric, I think there's a tremendous value in your story and why we wrote this book, Sell More, Stress Less, together. Would you be willing to share why you're so passionate about this topic and both your accomplishments and how you felt as a result of those accomplishments?
Absolutely, and thank you, Holly. So before the pandemic began, when the economy was churning and going on all cylinders, I had tremendous success in my professional life. I became, in 2018, the top salesperson for Disney North America, from the hotel division to traveling. There was top awards that was given out, and I just happened to be #1 achievement out of all of the top awards. And ironically, the Disney fiscal year ends around this time in the end of the third quarter. So it's about this time 5 years ago when I believe I'm having some professional success. And what I was having internally was a full meltdown. It took me 4 years to get to that place where I achieved the number, where the contracts were being signed. I actually signed them this week in 2018 on Thursday at 3:45 p.m. So I was able to successfully celebrate my annual goal for the past 52 weeks for 1 day, 1 hour and 15 minutes, because on Monday of next week, I was reset back to 0. And that's when I actually tried thinking about, instead of the celebration, I'm having a lot of people congratulate me and come up to me and say, "That's amazing, I can't believe you did this, this is wonderful." I was already thinking about next year, the goal of, they're going to raise the numbers in my professional world. Typically, you don't see declines when you're in a sales achievement situation. And I really found I was burnt out. At home, I was having a lot of challenges with relationships with a couple teenage daughters in the house. There was absolutely just no way I could get to my office. So I got to the office for the first couple weeks of the year, and I would just sit and look at the computer and not do anything. I was trying to do it all. I was trying to get all of those 4 years, wrap them into this year, and achieve the goals again to feel successful. The good news is, I ended up taking a break. I took 90 days as a personal leave of absence to just get my head on straight. Not everyone has that ability to just say, "Look, I'm not coming into the office tomorrow. I'm not coming to the office for the next week, and for the next 90 days. I just took time to take that stress, decompress, focus on myself. What I realized was, if I didn't understand whatever this stress reduction thing was, I wasn't going to make it in the workplace. And luckily for me, we found some tips that helped me get back on track. And as we resumed 2019 into 2020, 2021, 2022, we all know what happened over those times. We were able to focus our time better, take advantage of the tips that we'll share with you this morning, so that we can get to the end of the fourth quarter and begin next year and not feel completely overwhelmed and burned out.
Well, and Eric, I love that you share that story so authentically, but there was one statistic that I would like to add to that, which is, I asked Eric when he called me, he says, "Holly, I'm totally burnt out." And in order to get that number, which started with $12 million he booked, it was little fish, a lot of little contracts, and a few big fish too. Eric negotiated the deal between Disney and the NFL. When he had his exhaustion point and was off for those 90 days, I also asked him, I go, "Eric, what do you think being off that 90 days cost in terms of contracts?" And Eric, what was the number you threw out at me?
Between 6 and 12 million.
Between $6 and $12 million. And I think those are real numbers, whether it's $100 for you, $1,000, whatever this is scalable to your business, recognizing that your ability to keep yourself mentally and physically healthy in the busy sales seasons has direct impact on if you have to burn yourself out and you take time out of the office, that's going to perhaps cost you even more in the end. So we like to say mindfulness matters. So what exactly is this word called mindfulness? It's a word that's often misunderstood. Is your mind full or is your mind full? And the word is actually a little confusing. It's kind of like that word Amazon. You remember when Amazon was a place you went to in the jungle? Now it's that jungle you go to online to buy your kids' Halloween costumes and the groceries all in the same one stop.
On your way to Cherry Creek shops, where you go in person.
Where you go in person. It's true. So mindfulness is actually that muscle where you recognize you're off track and you're actually bringing yourself back into the present moment. There's no one way to do it. Lots of ways to think about mindfulness, and it doesn't require you to stack rocks or sit on an ashram or go to a mountaintop. That really mindfulness is a word like Amazon that's evolved and changed. And Eric and I worked together to write this book to invite people to utilize these principles for mental resilience, for customer experience, to enhance your corporate branding, your ability to recruit, retain, and maintain top talent. The most common definition of mindfulness you see there on the screen, but we like to say mindfulness is a practice of being fully present and doing that to the best of your ability without judgment. So can you throw that word out about how you're feeling in any given moment and do that from a place of non-judgment? There's a powerful case for mindfulness within organizations nowadays because people are busy, they're overwhelmed, they're uncertain. And in a world of AI, what I absolutely know is your HI, your human intelligence, your human intellect, is that unique skill and ability that's going to allow you to deepen the relationships, grow those clients, and continue to sell with ease and with great success. So Eric, what does it mean to be a sales professional? You took these 90 days off, you rebooted yourself and reset for that, what ended up being a really great sales year and ultimately a career change and led us to writing this book.
Thank you, Holly. And for me, how many of you have a perception of sales that is perhaps less than positive? You think of a salesperson, you think, oh, this is someone who's trying to take advantage of me or trying to trick me into doing something that I didn't want to do, or they're going to take my money and not deliver the goods. Or let's put all those negative stereotypes into a bucket, and what I choose to step into is the professional side of that. So when I'm thinking of sales professional, I want to have integrity. I want to have a partnership with my customers or clients that is win-win. There's a benefit to both of us. It's not just me win, you lose, or you win, I lose. We can meet in the middle, and as a professional, I'm going to demonstrate my sales acumen in a way that allows you to be included in the process as the buyer, as the organization, and as the seller. The way I can help you think about this is I have a process and I have a plan, and if I get stuck on anything in my sales situation, if I need more sales in the pipeline, I need more active inquiries or leads to work on, marketing's coming through, but now we need to sell something in order to achieve our business objectives. So as a sales professional, we're looking at company names who put these practices into place. This is not just for the big companies. It's not just for the individuals who do one-on-one coaching and therapy and counseling in general. This is actually a practice that we can all step into. And if you're in an operational role, anybody here making sure the lights are on, getting the job done, I think we all could step into the professionalism, recognizing that sales and being fully present to know that sales is happening, we're not going to ignore it, is going to help you with that fourth quarter achievement. So as we're getting you through to the end of the year, setting ourselves up for next year, let's keep in mind that you can do this too. So we'll help you. If you need a little help.
One of the company's logos that's often a surprise for folks is that Walmart logo. And we've had the opportunity to talk to the team there at Walmart, and they have actually set up various affirmations and transition points for people when they're rushing into their shift at Walmart. They go, they drop their stuff in the locker, take a moment to breathe, to center, to set your word for the day, and then move out onto the sales floor. And as we probably all had new reimagined retail experiences post-pandemic, I know in my sales interactions, I'm finding that whether it's Walmart or Macy's or any number of in-person sales experiences, when the sales professional on the show floor says to me, I'll get right to you. What size are you? They're working with me in a mindful way, even in the busyness. So that makes a huge difference. In fact, I know with my own pocketbook, there's been many times that there's probably been something I've wanted to purchase in a store, but I have chosen not to purchase it because I can't find a salesperson. There's not a salesperson available. They're not there to answer my questions or connect to me in this way. So as you're imagining mindfulness in your business and going into this hopefully busy last quarter of 2023 and setting yourself up for 24, how are you making sure that you have a presence online, in person, in a mindful way? What the research continues to show about this is the more you breathe, you center, you focus, and do these 7 strategies we're going to share with you, it improves your concentration, gives you those better interpersonal connections, creates greater empathy, and of course enhances creativity. So why does mind training matter? I know, Eric, you like this slide because it really dives into the 4 areas, not only of the brain. We have our brain friend back here.
It's a brain picture.
You can check us on this one.
Let's look inside, all the way inside.
Looking in the brain. No, your brain directly impacts your ability to be productive in workplace and in a sales environment.
So a couple quick things. Talking about shopping. A lot of people don't like to be sold to, but how many people like to buy things here? Yeah, there's a couple of hands going up. Some of you are like, I don't like to buy things, but I know we got to get it done. Holly and I have been talking so much about how many people are required to people, but you forgot how to people. And this is an interesting, whether you're in person, online, in your materials, did we forget the whole people part? A warm greeting, a hello, a start, a beginning, an end to an interaction, customer service, things that we can do and we can control. Initially, when I thought about stress reduction, and I did what a lot of people I think do, is you go online to your family doctor, WebMD, whatever the online Google search or something comes out with, and it said, well, you want to exercise and you want to eat healthier. So I tried to change my diet, started running, started working out, said to myself, okay, clearly the stress is just going to evaporate. But what we're finding in case studies on a workout are incredibly healthy for your circulatory system, for your heart. If sitting is the new smoking, it is absolutely a great thing to do as we're eating and putting things into our body. Not here to judge you on whatever you're doing in these areas. There's some good idea about putting some good things into your body. But what we're missing is this part, that your brain connects everything. And if you want to be more resilient in how you approach your business day, your work day, focusing on what you're doing in the moment, turning off a lot of that noise for 30 seconds. I was shocked when I learned this doesn't take all day, this doesn't take all year. It's something that I want to be more resilient. I need to turn off all of my 18 devices with 12 screens open, trying to get it all done in the moment. So how many of you open more than one window at one time when you're trying to get something done, or you're trying to talk to 5 people at one time? You're multitasking, right? We're all taught if you monotask, you're not going to get the job done. You have to multitask. Believe it or not, when we say we want you to sell more in the 4th quarter, or today, or tomorrow, and stress less, we're setting you up to have a more human interaction that's fully present. And by getting one thing done and being fully present with it, you're going to achieve a better customer experience. If your customers are like, you're not even talking to me, you're thinking about Netflix, or you're thinking about what you're going to do after work, or what you're going to have for lunch, or how many other people are so much more important than the person standing in front of you, because they're not going to buy from me. I know before I even set foot into this customer interaction that this is a waste of my time. Well, if you start putting those thoughts together, you're going to start seeing your failures accumulate as opposed to your successes. And to be more resilient, yes, eat better, get sleep, have an exercise regimen for your health, but don't forget what ties everything together. And when we look at your brain and how you can impact your own health, mental wellness, stress-free workplace, we're not trying to ignore it. We want to embrace the fact, recognize that these things are going to help you. And if you're looking at stopping for 30 seconds, the rewards of just shutting out a lot of things and taking your day and giving yourself a minute. As a lay person, I still admit I've been studying this for about 5 years and I'm just getting started. Think about brushing your teeth. How many of you have done this one time in your life and went, yeah, I'm never doing that again? How long does it take you to brush your teeth? I don't know. Okay, 10 to 30 seconds is my number. I'll just share. I'm not a sing happy birthday, wash your hands kind of guy. I'm like, yeah, I kind of got them all. We'll get there. But if you can stop for 10 to 30 seconds before a meeting, if you know you're about to go into a potentially stressful litigation in the law office, if you're sitting there going, I have a discussion with this customer and they're angry because something broke and it didn't work for them, if you say to yourself, this is about to be the most horrible meeting I've ever had, it's going to be stressful, guess what? It probably will be, but what if it isn't? And when we speak about going into a meeting with someone, you have the ability to control your take on that conversation. And what if it's the best, most stressed out meeting you've ever had, but we can turn that stress dial down. We can control how we don't add fuel to the fire. And it begins and ends with these systems.
So we think about mind training, and John Kabat-Zinn said there's an infinite number of ways to be mindful. So it may be taking a walk, it may be taking a breath, it may be visioning, it may be meditation. But what he's found is the more you train your brain, you actually activate your reticular activating system. Am I right? Oh, sweet. See, I can make it all up, and she won't audit me. Isn't this awesome? 5 years of studying the brain, and she just studies it different than me. That's how exciting this work is.
And there's no right or wrong.
I love that. We are having lunch for sure. Attention system. That the more we work with our brain, the more we activate our ability to pay attention. In sales, we know you're going to hear some no's before you hear that yes. Someone who practices mindfulness has a better resilience system. They have a better connection system. The ability to connect to their customers and their teams. And then, of course, if you're stepping into any role in leadership, that the more you're connected to yourself, the better you are often as a leader. So it's not about doing one more thing, it's about being mindful. And so that first step in the Sell More, Stress Less system that we want you to activate this quarter is to start with setting your intention. Intention is a fancy word for how are you going to put your energy in motion. And Eric and I have a few cards here. We just invite you to take a second. Well, if we give you this as homework, we know that you probably may not have time to do it. So let's do it here right now. What's that one word of how are you going to put your energy in motion? And this intention setting activity comes from our book, Everyday Mindfulness from Chaos to Calm in a Crazy World. So what we find is when you set your intention every day, it becomes that mindful anchor that you can come back to when that stressful phone call comes your way. Wait a second. My intention today was kindness. My intention today was fun or connection. And this book helps you to each and every day pick one. So our September 26th, Anthony told us, is a spark a love of learning. And the inspirational quote is, once a child learns to use a library, the doors of learning are always open. And it invites you to, how will you spark your own love of learning today? So Eric, what's your intention as we look into this last quarter of the year?
Intention for sales professionals usually looks a lot like conversion, productivity, year-over-year results. Yes, while those business,
that's all the head stuff, yeah.
While those business keywords or buzzwords and operational success terms are critical, the word kindness sometimes can turn people off because you're like, really, you're going to just be nice to people or what have you. This I struggle with when I think about an intention, putting into one word how my actions are going to make a difference in the fourth quarter. Could look a little bit like kindness, but it often looks a lot like focus. Discovery. Discovery is another great word that I like to learn. If I'm looking to learn more about my customer interaction and I want to qualify their business, a good sales term for you, instead of thinking of, I've got to qualify, are you qualified to be my customer? Am I qualified to be your product or service of choice? Why don't we use that word discovery and think of, if you go to word clouds, I don't know if anyone's comfortable in sharing their words, but if you could put one word into your fourth quarter, what would that look like? Anyone comfortable to shout it out? Positivity, love it. Anyone have anger, burnout, vodka? Come on, we know there's one out there. From Colorado, we can pass the Church of Cannabis on the way here. I mean, we all have our one-word intentions, psychedelics. But in business,
how do you want to be in the doing?
Think about it.
How do I want to be in the doing?
Yeah, so before you even pick up the phone or answer an email or talk to someone on whatever device they're on, however they want to communicate with, step back and choose a way of setting the tone for that, the theme of your interaction, collaboration.
So that steps us into step 2, which is the idea of centering as you're meeting and greeting the customer. Are you centering your own energy, letting go of the calm, just like we did in that Google a moment to arrive? And I sometimes think people call us just to have that minute to arrive. And as a sales professional, your energy, stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, a little frenetic maybe, can instantly become the basis of a sales negotiation if you don't take that time to center yourself. And that naturally goes into that meeting and greeting process. So you'll see that we integrate the mindful practice with the sales practice. So Eric, what's your tip on the meet and greet now that you've got your intention, you're fully centered, and you're stepping into actually meeting and greeting your customer?
Yeah, so anybody take a professional sales course before? Anyone see like a 7-step process or an 18-step qualification process? A lot of times in those courses, the first step they'll tell you is meet and greet. But what I just like to do for my tip is tell you, if you're meeting somebody, this is where you can human again. This is where you can people again. Put your stuff down. Put your thoughts away. Yes, you're going to have a plan and an interaction of positivity. You're going to have an interaction of discovery or whatever your word is. And just start with a hello. How are you? My name is Eric. You would obviously insert your name there and zip it. And listen. You know, this isn't the part where you're like, are you going to buy? Are you going to buy? I don't have a lot of time today. Are you going to buy? Just tell me right now, are you going to buy? I don't think you're going to buy, so you're probably not going to buy, right? No. Let's put all that aside and let's have a moment to say, and for me, this takes about 3 minutes. 3 minutes is almost excruciating at the beginning. It can be an internal struggle to stop what you're doing, put all of that stuff aside. But just like any muscle can be worked out, you might be able to start with, how are you doing? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, you're good, and then move on. But then the next time, just try to do it a little bit longer and a little bit better. But if we're introducing ourselves, we're having that moment to say, how are you doing? If your customer is stressed out and losing their mind, wouldn't it be nice to know that? If they're celebrating a family celebration, any sort of birthday, holiday, whatever it is that they're going through, probably could benefit you to know that. Is that useful information? Well, that remains to be seen, but at least meet them where they are and acknowledge what they're going through. And maybe they'll ask you the same thing and see what's happening. Maybe they're not having the best day. Maybe they just had a car accident. I mean, you never know. Perhaps they've had illness or something in their family that's unexpected. Acknowledge that. Don't be like, oh, sucks to be you. In meeting and greeting someone, let's at least start with the human part and see what happens.
And I always like to highlight too, this is one of those skills that Eric really taught me very well too, is recognizing that a lot of the sales now do happen via email or chat or Slack or any of those AI, tools. This same meet and greet applies there, and being honest about, are you a hi, Sarah? Are you a hello? Are you a, but making sure that even in your emails, you're taking that time to fully meet and greet people, even in a written way. So that moves us into that next step, which is know your beliefs and your qualifications step. And Eric has been kind of infusing this in, recognizing that what you believe about, you bring about. And even before you meet somebody, you got to let go of that judgment of, are they going to buy or are they not going to buy? And we have an activity in the book where we call it Belief 1.0, Belief 2.0, and getting clear about, what do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your customer? And in the book, there's a page where you actually put Belief 1.0, where are you right now? And where do you want to be? Again, with that idea of non-judgment. Eric, do you have a great story about believing that somebody would buy and perhaps they didn't, or the opposite, where you knew they'd believe and that transaction moved forward?
That openness when believing that every potential customer deserves to be heard. So every potential customer, I believe that even if I've done business with a customer before, if this is the 100th time, if this is the 4th time, if this is the first time that we've ever even had a conversation about business, I believe that the customer has the right to inform me of things that I had no idea about. Even if this was rinse and repeat. Let's just do it all over again. We've done it before. Your customer has walked into the Cherry Creek shops every Tuesday. They order the same thing, or this is what they're here to do. They don't ever buy for themselves. They buy for their daughter, or I'm a professional business-to-business interaction, and I'm looking for a service. I want to know, I came into a huge windfall of budget. I never in the past 10 years have had an additional $50,000 or $400. This scale starts with a business bartering exchange where you don't have to exchange currency whatsoever, but let's at least find out, hey, this is the 10th time I've worked with this person. It's the same time before the pandemic. I guarantee you, if you haven't done business with anyone since before the pandemic, something's changed, probably their job or their mental state or something. But when you think about believing that every prospect or every potential customer interaction deserves to be heard without judgment, that second part, I remember initially hearing about it. I'm like, of course we're going to judge them. Like, we're going to judge what they're wearing. We're going to judge what they're doing, how they come at us, what their graphics look like. Just what we're inviting you to do put that aside. Believe that that prospect has something that you've never heard. What about the shoes on the other foot? I always make my numbers because I talked to this customer, and no matter what, when they call me on Tuesday, I'm not hitting my quota yet, but I'm going to get there on Tuesday because when I call this customer, they're the one that always comes in. What if you didn't know they just lost their $50,000 sponsorship and they still want to work with you, but maybe in a new way, in a different way?
So Eric, I love your passion about this topic, and we think about it when we recently were buying a new car, and we walked into a variety of car dealerships. We have chosen we wanted an electric vehicle, and we walked into one dealership, and they instantly believed that we were not their customer. They had their profile of who was buying this particular vehicle. We did not meet that profile, and even though we were interested in that car, we test drove it, seriously considered it. I do believe it was the energetics of the salesperson that, no, you're not the profile that matches the demographic we're trying to reach. And we ended up going with a different vehicle. So that belief from your perspective about your customer can be an unconscious bias that often taints a sales interaction. So we move into the next idea, which is the idea of qualification. And Eric, I know this is an area we could come back and do a whole program on, but we've probably only got a couple minutes. But this is a great one to take notes on. We say new data creates happy results. And if you look at that as an acronym, NDCHR, the needs, as you're qualifying your folks, and this could be something as simple as selling a cup of coffee or buying a house, that this same process applies. And as you're embarking on your sales for the next few months, new decision-making process, competition, history, and resources. Eric, do you want to share your thoughts on new data creates happy results?
This is that discovery process.
Yeah.
And if you think about, I need to know what's happening right now. If we're putting a marketing campaign together, wouldn't you want to understand what the needs of the organization are? What is the desired outcome of that marketing program before you start to sell any marketing services? Or again, take that word marketing out if it doesn't fit in your business and put in, how do I even know what the budget is? Notice the B word I call it. The budget is not here. Why do we not ask someone for a hardline budget? Budgets are important, but most of the time, they're not true. It's a fictitious thing. You know what budgets are? They're a guideline. So what we say is, what are your resources? Maybe through the discovery process of qualification, you learn that there's additional funding or sponsorship, or maybe there's just a better financial situation or a better opportunity to exchange goods for services that wasn't there before. That's why we say resources. The budget is a nice guideline. If you're over budget, you may have ability to purchase additional resources for your operation, add more staffing, do things that would allow your business to grow and enhance it. If you're behind budget, you may have to scale back and do the opposite of those things. But when we talk about this 5, if you take anything away from today, your intention is super important on how you set your energy into motion. But in the fourth quarter, every interaction that you have, see if you can solve this puzzle. See if you can understand who the decision maker is. If you're in a grocery store with young children, who's the decision maker? It could be the parent, it could be the me, give me this. You never really know. But if you're talking about a decision-making process, what's your timeline for this decision? Who's making the decision? And ultimately, look through these items. History. Have you ever purchased this before? Have you ever done business with a like organization before? And competition. Try not to think you're the only one in town doing this sort of thing.
And we're really passionate about getting this sheet to you. So that QR code there goes to Eric's LinkedIn. If you just drop him a note, say Cherry Creek, we will get you that lead sheet. And you can, of course,
intake form, right? Some sort of place to gather information and discovery. Again, this is before you've even tried to attempt a conversion or sale. And really quick, before you say to yourself, I don't have time for this, I have hundreds of interactions a day, you might be able to pick and choose a few of them them. They don't have to be done in this order, but if you forget, needs, history, competition, decision-making process, new data creates happy results. That is usually where you could write it on your hand, you could have it on your phone, whatever device you need. If your customer says, I don't want to give you this information, take a step back. You want to certainly work on building trust and delivering a line along these lines. I understand you're super busy and your time is very important, and I agree, mine is as well. If you choose to share, I can give you my price right now, my retail price, rack rates, whatever my price is, and if this works for you, great. If not, I understand. I'd love some more time. Maybe we can schedule a time later when you have a little bit more time, because here's what's in it for you. Should you choose to help me understand a little bit more about what you're looking for in this transaction, I can more than likely deliver a better solution to you that will exceed your expectations. If I know what you're looking for, why you're looking for it, what the purpose is of this transaction, and how we can both have great success, I can deliver on those things. And again, this is before you've even attempted to sell. The marketing might have brought them in the door. Now we're learning and discovering what this looks like. Does that make sense?
So we're gonna mash up steps 4 and step 5 a little bit, just simply for time today. But step 4 is that idea of creating a vision. What you visualize, you actualize. Raise your hand if you have a vision board for your home, like a traditional vision board. Now keep your hand up if you have a vision board for your business. Yay, a few people do. That's a great way to keep the feeling tones in front of you. What you visualize, you actualize. So even if you haven't done a vision board before, maybe today you pick 1 or 2 pictures. Maybe you Google, here's an image for my rental company, and you make some pictures around the number of contracts you want to have this holiday season, because no doubt it's a busy time for you. Keeping that vision alive all year long. That steps us into the idea of a presentation, whether you're presenting a car or you're presenting a legal contract, you're presenting a membership to the Cherry Creek Chamber. What does the website look like? What does the brochure look like? How are people presenting that product to you?
Yeah, talk through it and give an opportunity to describe, give descriptive words. This is your marketing 101. When you're trying to, why do you do what you do? Some people are just there for the paycheck. But I think if you woke up on a Tuesday morning and came to the Cherry Creek Chamber of Commerce for a meeting to do some networking and education, you've got to be passionate about your business, and you want to share what you do or whatever your goods or services are. This is where your presentation speaks through. We don't just rent equipment, we create happy celebrations or business meetings or social events or catered events or weddings or celebrations, birthday parties, funerals, whatever we're doing, we do it the best. We're on time for a great value, and our service is unbelievable. And as you demonstrate that, we'll probably skip that one for a second. This will be your free sample, your trial, your test drive, whatever you want to do to try to give that opportunity to maybe visit and experience. Come in, we'll talk for 15 minutes. Come in to the Cherry Creek shops and experience this retail wonderful environment, how you're going to love doing business here.
I love this one, demonstration and affirmation. What you think about, you bring about. What are you affirming, and then what are you demonstrating? I think the mall is really a great example of that. Are you having people park in the North 40 and have to walk 10 miles to get to the mall? No, you're rolling out this great experience. When they step into the space that they're going to be renting, you're helping them visualize. Here's where the racks could go. Here's where an aisle could go. This is a great opportunity for a painted mural that matches your particular brand, but making sure that all the while you're doing that head stuff, you're also doing that heart stuff of you're affirming the contract for yourself, and you're affirming the good use of that by the person who's purchasing. Again, to Eric, putting the win-win. Yeah.
Shine a spotlight or a focus on those discovery qualification things. When you just said this was important to you, having this in my pitch, this is where your action, the everything you just learned about, and however long it took you to get that information, now goes, and you're going to start meeting the needs of your customer better. And shine that spotlight. If they say something is important to them, now with authenticity. You're not going to fake it and misrepresent and lie and give all those bad sales stereotypes. Well, we're selling the dream and then servicing the nightmare. No. Let's live in an integrity space. And if this isn't a good fit, call it out and say, you know what? These are our abilities to demonstrate and deliver on this marketing material and on this promise. And you called me and I want to tell you the real story here, and here's what we can do. But the best part is if you've taken the time to learn a little bit more, you're in the right mental state yourself, where you're not just go, more. It's, I want this to be a good interaction. Then I want to solve this challenge. I want to deliver on this. Your fourth quarter will be surprisingly exceptional.
So I always think the right message lands at the right time. And step 6 is the idea of movement in trial close. And in the book, we give you a tip a week for 52 weeks. This week is week 39 of the year. I think it's a great piece of advice to take with us. And it is ask for the business always. Even a bad attempt to close is better than no close at all. Think of the Jedi Master Yoda from Star Wars when he says, do or not do, there is no try. And we invite a question every week, and your question is, who have I not asked for the business? Why are you not asking? Can you connect to that person today and make the ask?
If we're dancing and dancing around the, are we going to get this done or not? There could be that fear that we have of, I don't want rejection. I don't want to be afraid that they don't want to come back to my business and get the deal done, purchase this thing. A bad close or an uncomfortable close or a trial close, just trial close to be, is this the type of experience that you're looking for? Is this the type of solution that will, does that sound like I've answered all of your questions? And if so, can we move forward to purchase today? That's probably not like a sentence you would use in conversation every single day all the time, but the good news is ask for that. So in your pipeline now, in your current book of business where you're thinking about, we've had a lot of conversations, but I've never really asked them, I don't know when they're going to buy, but maybe today could be that day. Let's ask for that business and say, would it be okay if we did business? What do you think? Are you ready to purchase today? What does that look like to you? And make it a genuine, earnest effort to say, I'd like to work with you. And can we make that happen? How can we make that happen? And make it the best experience for both of us. See what they say.
And then step 7, of course, is gratitude and follow up. What you're grateful for increases. And that's grateful for the business that you signed, and that's also grateful for the business that you did not sign, because you've just had the opportunity to move people through a sales cycle where you created deeper relationships. And they may not be the ones that's purchasing now, but perhaps 6 months from now, they have the opportunity to recommend you for an engagement, a gig, or a contract. I always love the story Eric tells, and this will resonate with chamber members. We all have those opportunities where the chamber will call us up and say, can you donate a gift basket, a bottle of wine, this or that type of item. And we do it because we believe in the cause and the organization. And we also do it because we believe good business creates good business. And Eric had this opportunity to do that quite frequently when he worked at Disney. And then he'd left Disney, he moved on to another organization. Maybe it was a hotel. And it was a hotel. He gave a gift certificate for an overnight at a hotel. And 2 years later, a woman came back to him and said, I want to book business in your hotel because 2 years ago, at a time that I was in need, you donated something to a charity that meant something to me. And he created a deep relationship with that. So always being grateful and always following up.
I think we kind of land there as we're hitting up our time. One thing I want to say on gratitude. So if you are grateful for the customer giving you a chance to win the business, earn the business, say it. Express that gratitude. And if you say it to them in a written form or doesn't necessarily require a purchase of a gift or something to that effect, just, of course, if they're choosing you and you're selling to them on your materials, might just say thank you for your business or what have you. But in gratitude, being in full gratitude to be in this space, be grateful for the opportunity to win or lose the business, and know that those pieces of business that you may not have won are a step towards learning maybe how to do it better the next time, and say that too. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do business with you. And a lot of times if we get in our own head, you're like, you know what, I got up this morning, I came out, I set up my shop, I did all my marketing material, I've done so much, they need to be thanking me. Danger, 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 be careful. Maybe, yes, that is an appropriate thing to do. Our tip and our last tip for you today is to be grateful and to understand that, yes, they might need to tell you thank you or whatever, but let's flip that over and thank them. Think about this. The last time you had someone come to your home for dinner, or the next time you do something for somebody, when you're done, be in gratitude and thank them for experiencing it. Don't wait for them to say thank you before you say thank you back, or others. Just be in this grateful space. Of course, the follow-up is critical. Deliver on the promises. So if you'd like to learn more about this, we're here in Denver. So we live in the foothills. Thank you so much for your time today.
So this QR code is the handout.
Engage with us.
So if you'd like that handout, we call that the sales leadership mini poster. Go ahead and click that QR code. Thank you for having us. Go forth, sell more, stress less. Have an amazing end of 2023. And
Anthony, Christine, thank you. Just everyone, have a great day today. Enjoy the rest of your week and be a great chamberman. Howard, thank you. That's all time. We're grateful for you, so thank you so much. This is very rare, but I have a 9:30 call I'm jumping into. Normally I'd stay and hang out a little bit. Excuse me. Thank you. Anthony?